Bollywood movies have been always judged in two separate segments, the first half and the second half. And how many times have we heard the phrase first half अच्छा था लेकिन second half थोड़ा slow था or vice versa? This is how filmmakers have always been making their movies over the years, with the story getting more intense and more interesting in the second half. But there have been movies that were great in the first half, but the film loses its plot in the second half and leaves us completely underwhelmed. So this is our list of top 10 decent Bollywood movies with a bad second half. Keep in mind that not all of the movies on this list are bad. Some even might be great. But their first half was far more superior than their second half. So don't just hate on us for the fuck of it, okay? And now that we have that clear, let's get started. Number 10, Delhi 6. Let's start off with a movie which didn't have a great first half but was perfectly watchable. With a lot of interesting characters based out in the heart of old Delhi and their personal lives explored through the eyes of Abhishek Bachchan, an NRI who's smitten by the sense of community and culture all around him, but at the same time realizing the problems that come with it. Now this in itself could have been a great movie to watch. But then comes the second half of the movie that brings up the Kala Bandar, which is a metaphor for all the bad we have in our hearts. This just completely shifts the focus of the movie with its absurdity and how these characters react to something so illogical in an over-the-top manner. And not to forget the ending, which is one of the weirdest and the dumbest thing ever. But all of this begins right at the start of the second half, where the movie tries to take on social issues in the name of the stupid Kala Bandar. The movie was perfectly fine without it. Number 9, Cocktail. The first good movie on this list, Cocktail was generally enjoyed by the audience. It had a good first half which showed a progressive and a modern relationship/friendship. But all of the build-up had gone to waste in the second half as the movie walked over every possible cliche in a trademark Bollywood romantic movie. With Saif falling for the quote-unquote good girl Diana and Deepika helping Saif pursue his love for Diana despite being in love with him herself. I mean, it's fair to say that Saif's character in the movie was not that great, and it's universally agreed that he did not deserve to end up with Diana, especially after the way he breaks up with Deepika and breaks their friendship so cruelly. Number 8, PK. Before clicking off this video, just listen to us. PK certainly is one of the greatest movies in Bollywood, and frankly, its first half is worth of a legendary status, as we see the journey of an alien who's accidentally left behind in India just wants to return home. And also the brilliant commentary about the different types of religious beliefs in India is amazing. But by its own standard, the second half of the movie falls a bit short. While we see Tapasvi Ji fight PK, it goes a little overboard, and most of what is shown in the second half feels quite similar to Oh My God. Also, the main emotion driving force of the movie, which is PK wanting to go home, takes a backseat, and an out-of-place love story takes light and ruins the pace of the movie completely. The second half, which is mostly okay, doesn't live up to the build-up and doesn't answer the issues it raised in the first half. Not to mention, the whole wrong number gambit feels a bit too preachy. A movie which could have been one of the greatest movies in Bollywood history ever was held back due to its own relatively weaker second half. Number 7, Ek Thi Dayan. From the best movie on this list, let's move on to the worst movie on this list, Ek Thi Dayan. Although the first half of the movie wasn't all that bad, it had the usual drawbacks that a typical Bollywood horror movie almost always has. It mainly did a great job in building the tension and the mystery with an excellent performance from Konkana Sen Sharma. But as good as the first half was, the second half was equally bad. What felt like a good horror movie with genuine chills soon turned out to be a very generic Bollywood horror movie with a twist ending that felt out of place and probably squashed the suspense and the intrigue that the first half managed to create. Number 6, Talash. Now everyone who has watched Sixth Sense knows why Talash is on this list. Taking the famous twist ending from Sixth Sense, Talash completely lost its own uniqueness. In the first half, Talash built a strong base about a cop suffering from guilt due to his son's death and the mystery of a certain road where accidents happen frequently. But all of this is undone in the second half, where we witness some uninvited melodrama, over-the-top complex ending and a half-cooked explanation to make the twist ending work. It ended up feeling like a cliched horror movie ending which we have seen 1,000 times. While the first half promised to be a psychological thriller, the second half and the ending made Talash an underwhelming experience. Number 5, Ae Dil Hai Mushkil. Just like Cocktail, Ae Dil Hai Mushkil started out with a lot of promises, with the first half of the movie which was mostly filled with fun moments between two friends and their complicated relationship with each other and probably the story of unrequited love. But the second half takes a turn for the worst. While Aishwarya is brilliant in the movie, her character is hugely just a plot point to help Ranbir make Anushka jealous. And then the story takes an even worse turn when Anushka is revealed to be suffering from cancer. I mean, how many times in a love story is someone going to die from cancer? Can't Bollywood make a love story about unrequited love or one-sided love without making a character die in the end to make everything a perfect circle? Ae Dil Hai Mushkil ended up being a generic Bollywood romantic movie when it had the chance to show a character move on from his one-sided love to fall in love with someone else, like it happens a lot in reality to people. But instead, cancer zindabad, I guess. Number 4, Zero. The most recent example of how the second half can ruin all the great work the first half does. Zero started off as a story of a vertically challenged man and his search for a suitable partner. While the first half was kind of a fun love story between two physically challenged people, the second half just became so illogical so quick. It was unbelievable. From the dance competition with Shah Rukh wins against trained dancers to the pointless cameos. From the actress hiring a guy she just met as her caretaker out of nowhere and NASA hiring an uneducated dwarf to go into space. Is there anything else we need to say? I mean, the movie goes from a sweet love story to a full-on, over-the-top, illogical, nonsensical bullshit just like that. Like Anushka using a wheelchair to go across town to stop Shah Rukh from leaving instead of using a cab or any other mode of transport. I mean, what the fuck, bitch, you're rich, just use your car. Number 3, Fan. From one Shah Rukh Khan movie to another, Fan had a very good first half. With Shah Rukh's acting on point as a doppelganger, the first half was successful in showing us the obsessive nature of a fan who wants to meet his idol and would go to any lengths to make that happen. But those lengths showed in the first half didn't feel impossible. But in the second half, everything that happened felt like an impossible task for a middle-class man to achieve. With over-the-top stunts by the doppelganger and the superstar, the doppelganger acting as an imposter and no one recognizing him, or even the fact that he had that much money and no support to make all of the stuff happen. Also, the ending fell flat on its face. Frankly, the first half of the movie had bags of potential, but all of it got washed away in the end as Bollywood once again decided to stick to its trademark and gave us the same old routine in the second half with the audience questioning the logic behind everything. Number 2, De Danadan. This movie had the potential to be one of the biggest comedies in Bollywood, with a big star cast consisting of Akshay Kumar, Paresh Rawal and Sunil Shetty along with other big name actors. And not to forget the director Priyadarshan. The movie started off very nicely with the first half creating a base for a number of characters, where we thought that the movie could explode into a fun laugh right in the second half. But unfortunately, the second half was a big coagulated mess, with too many characters creating a lot of confusion and with Akshay Kumar not being present for a big chunk of the second half. Not to mention the not at all funny and the totally unnecessary ending with the flood in the hotel. I mean, what happened? What really happened? It felt like someone wrote the first half of the movie, then got drunk and then continued writing the second half of the movie. That's what happened. Number 1, Cupcake. Okay, let's be frank here. Has anyone actually watched this movie in one sitting? I mean, everyone remembers the first half of the movie because of the memorable performances by Paresh Rawal and Rajpal Yadav, who had some scenes that are still fresh in our minds despite the movie coming out 13 years ago, and also being relevant enough to be turned into memes now. Now, while the first half of the movie is full of light-hearted comedy surrounded by a weird-ass love story making it an overall fun watch, the second half flips it around making the weird love story the main focus of the movie. While Paresh Rawal, Om Puri and Rajpal Yadav try to make the melodrama in the second half kinda watchable, it's still just a snooze fest. And I think people just change the channel nowadays as soon as the first half ends. So this was our list for the top 10 Bollywood movies which had good first halves but questionable second halves. Do let us know in the comments below what are the videos we should make next. Thank you so much for supporting us, guys. Follow our social media accounts to get to know us better, like and share this video and subscribe to Brainwash for more videos like these.